This video is going to give you an overview of kind of this ERP class you enrolled in. The course descriptions, of course, are always a little different than what the course ends up being, and actually the approach to this course is probably different from any other course you've had. So this is kind of an overview, my course philosophy for this ERP course. It's really ERP and information systems for competitive advantage. So this is the third edition of the textbook. If you're seeing this and there's a different edition, this video is still relevant. Just realize the most up-to-date version is the one you're going to want to use. The course itself is following this textbook, and really it's less about SAP. So we're going to use SAP as an example ERP system, but it's not about SAP or ERP. It's not technical in nature. It's designed really for the end user within a company who's utilizing an ERP system for strategy. And really the whole reason you'd be using it is to increase profit. And that's really the goal within this. So it really comes down to it being more like a strategic management course. But my approach to it is more like an internship. So this is a limited time. That's just the duration of this course. You're kind of working for me here. And you should treat me more like your supervisor, not maybe the role you've had in the past with other instructors. I'll guide you through the course, but I'm not holding your hand through it. So it requires some significant internal motivation for you to get through it. Just like an internship, there's some different parts to it. There's training and onboarding where you're actually kind of learning, well, this is what I'm doing as part of my job. There's on-the-job training. I don't expect you to know everything during that training and onboarding, so you're going to be learning as you go. Then you're going to be completing your assigned task, and then I'm going to be looking just like an internship. What did you learn? What did you learn from this? That first part of this is really getting used to the course. Again, it's not a typical course. In many other courses, there's this is how you do it. That's a little different here. I'm going to be providing you with the tools, more of the nuts and bolts of how to do things. But then it's up to you to determine what the problem is and which tools that I provided for you would be there to solve the problem. So first we're going to have more of an overview of how to use the tools. And there's SAP labs and some quizzes to help guide your learning, but really it's not solutions to problems. It's more of how you can go about solving those problems. The next part is the on-the-job training, and through simulation, we have a market simulation. You're going to experience running a company, a manufacturing company. Now, the nuts and bolts from that first part are going to come through, so you're going to learn some navigation, some of the processes, the mechanics of the simulation, but really successfully completing the simulation is going to require some thought, and that's this part. So it's applying those nuts and bolts that you learned in the first part to kind of understand, oh, okay, this is what's going on. Now I need to solve a problem, and that's really what your assigned task is. It's running a profitable manufacturing company within a simulated market. So you're going to have a lot of different times where you're going to go through and actually practice this. And then it's going to work into, okay, you determine the problem and the solution. Now here's the thing. This is a simulation that changes every time we play it. And it changes based on your competition. Your competition is the other teams within your course. So there aren't any predetermined problems. It's going to depend on what the other teams are doing. So I can't tell you, this is what to expect and this is how you solve it. Every class is going to be different. So how do you respond to the competition? And again, this is for you. There are no right answers for this as far as this is the problem I want you to solve. It's more so you've solved the problem when you've reached the profitability goals that you set out for your team. The fourth part of this, the end part, what did you learn? So you're going to analyze your performance and then present what you learned and experienced. What went well within your group? How could you have improved? So just kind of tell us about your experience, just like in an internship. Now, I want to reiterate something, that this is not your typical class. And if you remember back to when you learned algebra, you were kind of given this, okay, 2x plus 3 equals 7, solve for x. And then whoever taught you algebra walked you through. Okay, the first thing you do is you subtract this number here, that added. You subtract 3 from both sides. So 2x plus 3 minus 3 equals 7 minus 3, keeping both sides equal. 2x equals 4. And then divide this 2 by each side. So divide each side by 2. 2x divided by 2 equals 4 divided by 2. X equals 2. We've solved for x. Now you do it. And they give you a problem. 3x plus 2 equals 11. If you follow the same process here, you'll come through and get to the correct answer. X equals 3, you get an A in the class. Well, it's not quite like that within this class. We're looking at soft skills in this course. So earning an A is going to require communication, teamwork, adaptability, problem solving, critical observation, and then as necessary, conflict resolution and leadership. So again, I'm not going to say, here's the problem, this is how you solve it, show me how you solve it using that same process. Every single team is going to have a different experience within this class. So again, it's a different approach. I'm giving you the tools and providing guidance for it, but you're determining the problem and how to solve it. Now, I will always help you. I will always answer questions and provide guidance, but I'm not going to tell you, here's the problem, here's the process for solving it. I'll help you figure out how to solve it. So you'll never get an example, 2x plus 3 equals 7. This is how you solve it. Now you do it. So along the way within this, you just happen to learn ERP. So again, the focus is not learning an ERP system. So you're going to learn SAP navigation. You're going to experience multiple SAP modules across functional areas. But learning ERP is more like a side effect. It's not the focus of this course. This is really a strategic management course. So if you're coming into this hoping to learn all the nitty-gritty within ERP, that's not this course. This is more of an overview course of ERP for competitive advantage. Now, think about this. I don't know if you've ever heard of this before, but it's the marshmallow challenge. It's simple. You have 18 minutes. You build the tallest freestanding structure out of 20 spaghetti sticks, 3 feet of tape, and 3 feet of string. You get 1 marshmallow. The marshmallow has to be on top. So this is the marshmallow challenge, and it's happened around the world, and various people compete within this, and you're just trying to make a structure like one of these. The funny thing is, they can put engineers, mechanical engineers, business students, whatever, up against kids, and the kids always win. And part of that is because the kids don't have any preconceived ideas of how they should be doing it. They're not as caught up with it. They're just trying to get the marshmallow up high. That's what we're looking for. Free yourself of all these other things and just think things through. This is a challenge. There are many other challenges like this, building robots and all kinds of other stuff. We're going to be doing our own, and it's ERPsim. That's the simulation we're using, which uses SAP as the interface within a market simulation. So this is, again, it's on-the-job training. It's not just learning SAP and ERP, but learning to work autonomously, working on figuring it out within your group. So I'm going to provide you access to the tools, some practice, some explanation, but it's up to you and your group to figure out what to do with all that information. Now, I'm talking about ERPsim, comparing it to the Marshmallow Challenge and some of the other ones. You might be saying, really? What? This is an actual picture, and this isn't really showing you the extent of it. This is Central Michigan University. Every single year they have a huge competition where every single one of the senior business students comes together, and they all compete as teams within this market simulation. Meanwhile, companies show up and they look for recruits, either for internships or to hire. Just watching the soft skills within ERPsim. So from the ERPsim competition in 2018, there was a student who participated within this, and Harley Davidson. So this is in Central Michigan University. Harley Davidson out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, came there looking for an intern, and they found that person through this ERPsim competition. So it was watching the soft skills that this student had. They said, we want you in our department. So she was hired on the spot to become an intern in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So here we go, the rest of the term. You and your team will use any existing business knowledge you have, knowledge from the first part of this course, the textbook, posted videos, to successfully run a marketing company within a simulated market. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. Throughout the course, you just need to participate, try new things, keep track of what it is that you're doing, quantify your decisions, and ask me good questions. Ask each other good questions. You'll have a team you're working with. Ask each other, talk, work things through. My role, again, is more of a mentor, a supervisor. Try something. Did it work? Not work? Why? If you can't figure out what happened, ask me. That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. Try something. If it's not working, ask me. So another part to realize with this is that I can't presume what you're trying to do. So if you don't ask, I don't know that you're struggling. Maybe you're trying new strategies to see what happens. Every semester, I seem to have a team that just does not do well every time we're practicing. And they don't ask questions, and then it comes down to the final assessment for this, and they blow everyone away. And it turns out, once we look at their strategy, once they actually do the presentation, we see they spent all of that time trying new things, documenting it, trying to figure out how to quantify a certain strategy. If I jumped on them and said, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, I'd be impeding on their winning strategy. So again, I am not going to watch your results and say, you're doing it wrong, let me tell you how to do it right, because maybe you have something else in mind. So realize, I will happily answer all questions that you have. Don't just sit back and ask me, what do we do? You're challenged. This is a strategic course. Put some effort into it, ask me good questions, and I will happily assist, but I will not do the work for you. If you're asking me questions that seem like maybe it's been answered before, I'll generally give as the first answer. Have you read the book? Have you watched the videos? Have you quantified your decisions? These are the general things we're looking for within this class. I give you the tools, you solve the problem. Required within every single group within this entire course. No matter what, you're going to have communication, teamwork, adaptability, problem solving, critical observation. As necessary, conflict resolution is going to pop up in this, and leadership skills will probably be part of this, but not necessarily. You might have a group of people who just work together well. So, if you're not sure what's happening, that's okay. There's a steep but short learning curve. Don't worry if you're overwhelmed, that's actually normal. Just don't give up. Keep working, work through this. By the end of the semester, it'll make sense. Isn't that funny? By the end of the semester, it'll make sense. If you have any questions, definitely let me know.